morning. And again, my name is Linda Vickers, and this is my first support group to do, so bear with me. And I work with Dr. Yadegar's patients before they have their surgery. So what I was asked to develop for you tonight was just some ideas, food ideas for those first few weeks after surgery, and then weeks 3 and 4, and then weeks 5 and 6. So first 2 weeks after surgery, the clear liquid sample foods. And so how about if we just take the breakfast ideas first and go with breakfast. So we're going 2, 4, or 6 tablespoons of a protein drink, depending on which type of surgery you've had. So again, the RNY is for gastric bypass. And so we're recommending 2 to 4 tablespoons at a time if you've had the gastric bypass during those first couple of weeks. And then if you've had the flu, we're going 4 to 6 tablespoons at one time. And if you've had the lap band, 4 tablespoons per meal. The different protein drinks, does anybody want to state the ones they've tried that they really like? Again, clear liquids at 10 o'clock, snack a couple of hours after you've had breakfast. So we've got things like the vegetable broth, anywhere from 2 to 6 tablespoons at a time, depending again on which surgery you've had. And you can use, like a half a scoop of any of those protein powders in your vegetable broth. Or you could have the plain Greek yogurt and put like a vanilla extract in there, or almond extract, or lemon extract. Or like Liz said earlier in the class, you could just get the vanilla flavored yogurt already. Anybody comments about using yogurt?
But never ever put the protein powder with cottage cheese.
Thank you, Liz.
Experience.
So what happens when you...
What does it do?
Yes.
The protein sticks to the curds of the cottage cheese. It was pretty gross.
So don't mix cottage cheese and protein powder.
I used sugar-free Farini strips.
And where did you buy the sugar-free Torini? Lunch, then we're going back to the protein drink. 2, 4, or 6 tablespoons of your different protein drinks. And I think Liz earlier mentioned the Untitled is a protein powder, and you can that comes in different flavors.
Untitled,
Isopure,
the Nectar.
The Nectar. Right. And where did you get the Nectar?
Nectar and Isopure, I get it at the Vitamin Shoppe.
Vitamin Shoppe. 2 p.m. snack, we're going back to the broth. You could do like a miso broth, just don't do the chunks of tofu yet. You've got the chicken broth or a vegetable broth. Of course, you could use beef broth too, and just you can add your half a scoop of protein powder to any of the broth flavorings. And then 4 o'clock, we've got the popsicle or the Jello, and then dinner again is the protein drink, and then a snack 2 hours after that. We're going back to like a yogurt or a pudding. Any other ideas?
Remember one thing, you're going to be sipping water in between all of this too, to make sure you're staying hydrated.
Right.
And I always tell everybody that, when you're drinking, especially on those first 2 weeks when you're on the clear liquid, you want to be sure that that you're looking at your pee. Make sure if your pee is real concentrated, you're not hydrated enough. If your pee is pale yellow, you're definitely more hydrated.
Yes, I think we've always said, you want it to be like lemonade color or lighter.
Mhm.
But you don't want your urine to be like an apple juice color. That would be getting too dark then. Okay, so half hour after, you're going to start sipping on your water again.
But in this 2 weeks of clear liquid, you can just continue doing your liquids.
You don't have to wait up.
With the clear liquids and stuff, we don't have to wait.
Okay. Okay, so just keep sipping.
Keep sipping.
Full liquid, soft texture diet, week 3 and 4. Pinto type beans. You could do pinto beans, black beans, the white beans. They're a good protein source. And then maybe 1 egg and just cook it really moist. Or for breakfast, you could do 3 egg whites and then make sure they're moist also, cook them moist. And then next to that, you can have a tablespoon of unsweetened applesauce and then a sliver of avocado. Or another breakfast idea could be 4 to 5 tablespoons of a cream wheat cereal and add a scoop of your protein powder to that. And just a little bit of like a canned pear, like a tablespoon of canned pear, soft. Or for breakfast, you can do the applesauce and the unsweetened, or the unsweetened applesauce and the cottage cheese. And you want the cottage cheese to be either non-fat or low-fat. You can mix them together or separately. And then a snack after breakfast would be 6 ounces of a protein drink. And then lunch goes back to something like a cottage cheese, hummus, and mashed vegetables. And about 2 tablespoons of the cottage cheese, 2 tablespoons of hummus, 2 tablespoons of mashed vegetables. What about mashed bananas? Mashed bananas.
You have to be careful with the bananas, especially if you've had a bypass, because bananas can get pretty sweet. And if you're a bypass, there's a chance you could dump from the sugar, especially the riper the fruit gets. You know that one. The riper the fruit gets, the more sugar that develops in it. It's like with me with pineapple. Pineapple is problematic for me because of how much sugar starts developing as it sits and gets ripe. The more ripe it gets.
The next day, 3 tablespoons of like a soft tofu, and you could saute it in a teaspoon of olive oil. You could add some herbs to that too, to season it. And then on the side of that, a tablespoon of something like a mashed vegetable. Another idea for a lunch could be 2 tablespoons of the soft canned chicken and 2 tablespoons of non-fat non-fat refried beans, and 2 tablespoons of mashed zucchini or mashed vegetable. And again, the refried beans have already got the carbohydrate in there, so it'd probably be best to have it as to have a zucchini with that instead of a fruit with it.
They have this stuff. It's called Devrom. A lot of times they sell it to Bariatric Advantage. It's a bowel deodorant. Devrom, D-E-V-R-O-M.
Devrom, from Bariatric Advantage.
I know they sell.
So at this meal then, if you were afraid to do the beans, maybe you could do, depending on how many tablespoons you could aim for at that meal. If you can go 6 tablespoons here, you could have like 3 tablespoons of the chicken and 3 tablespoons of the mashed zucchini there, and just forget the beans for now. If you're afraid it's going to bother you. Yeah. All right, and then the next meal, lunch, half a cup of strained split pea soup and some of the thinly sliced ham. The deli ham, the thinly sliced ham or turkey there. And this again is week 3 and 4. Tuna here at week 3 and 4. True. The canned tuna. I've got that for dinner. Or tilapia. The next meal is poached tilapia, soft, 2 ounces. Now, 2 ounces, let me try to explain 2 ounces. For women, I know we all have different size palms of the hands, but generally speaking, for a woman's palm of her hand, it's about 3 ounces. Or a deck of cards. A normal size deck of cards is 3 ounces of meat. So here we're talking 2 ounces. So it would be not quite the palm of a woman's hand, or not quite the whole deck of cards. So it's a small piece of fish. And maybe some soft cooked carrots, soft enough that you could mash them with a fork easily. So here you do want the vegetables to be easy to be mashed, easily mashed with a fork. All right, and then an egg mixture scramble. I was trying to think of some kind of like a crustless quiche. You know, any combination of, or any recipe you've got where you could have eggs, and you can cook cottage cheese. So if you were going to make a quiche, you could put cottage cheese in there with your eggs and scramble it all together. And you could cook up your carrots ahead of time and get them really soft. They take a little while to get carrots soft, so you could cook those up ahead of time and then mix them in with your egg and cottage cheese. Or maybe another cheese that you could mix with the eggs would be like a ricotta, fat-free ricotta cheese, or fat-free cottage cheese in with the eggs, and make your own little quiche. Crustless, no crust here. Then tuna, another dinner can be tuna and mashed vegetables, soft mashed vegetables. And then for the 8 p.m. snack, the popsicles or sugar-free pudding, and with a little bit of a protein drink. All right, that's the weeks 3 and 4. Is weeks 5 and 6. Okay, we're moving forward mechanical soft now, so we'll get to have a few more things. So breakfast ideas. An ounce of Canadian bacon. So you could have Canadian bacon and egg whites moist, and maybe a little bit of peach, maybe half of a peach half, or depending on how much you can tolerate. And then another breakfast would be the egg whites and the applesauce again. There's the cream of wheat again as another breakfast, or the plain yogurt, or you could get the vanilla yogurt and then have an egg on the side. You know, all your cooking herbs, oregano, basil, you can put that in everything. Have you heard of turmeric? That's the turmeric is actually the second ingredient if you were to buy the seasoning called curry. You know, there's a seasoning curry powder. Turmeric is the second ingredient. The first ingredient is cumin. Cumin's kind of hot, but the turmeric is very mild. And if you prior, if you would ever use the yellow rice, the way they turn rice yellow is they put turmeric in there. Anyway, all of these are very, very potent antioxidants, anti-inflammatories. Turmeric is just praised for so many things. One of the seminars I attended, they were thinking in India, the reason they have less Alzheimer's is because they use so much turmeric in everything. What we've done at our house is we've put the turmeric in a salt shaker, and I just shake it on everything. Turmeric. Antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. If you think blueberries are very strong antioxidants, these herbs and spices are extremely potent. Let's look at the dinners here. Let's see, 3 ounces of ground turkey breast. Now, that can dry out pretty dry. So to keep it moist, you could just keep adding a little bit more water to it and kind of like maybe almost poach it. So in the skillet, you put your raw turkey meat in there and just keep adding water to it. to keep it soft, or maybe a little bit of broth or dilute broth in there to keep that turkey breast moist. And then some soft asparagus or any other soft vegetable that you like to go with that. Or a dinner could be salmon and soft carrots. So by week 5 and 6, salmon might be okay, or maybe you want to stick with the tilapia, soft fish. Another dinner could be the 3 ounces of boiled shrimp and some mashed cauliflower. Or a slow-cooked pork tenderloin. In the crock pot, let that pork tenderloin cook all day, and it just will fall apart by the end of the day. And then have some green beans with that, or some other soft vegetable.
At some point in time, you're going to want to start adding balance in, but if you're going to do potatoes, I can tell you, it'll fill you up pretty quick, and you would always eat your protein first, then your non-starchy fruits and vegetables, and then your carbs. You're always best when you go with your carbs to do more of a whole grain. If you were going to do a potato, you would probably be better off doing like some sweet potato or something like that, as opposed to a white potato.
Now you might be able to tolerate the canned tuna with a little bit of mayonnaise. And I'll tell you, in our tuna at home, I mix all 3 of these in there. I throw in the turmeric, so my tuna salad comes out yellow. And I've got oregano in there, and I've got basil in there in my tuna salad, or even in my egg salad. I'm throwing all this in there. Can you have ground beef? You want it to be really lean.
Ground beef.
Yes. So.
And chances are it's going to be more dry.
So you could, again, poach it. Cook the ground beef in a lot of water, and the turkey breast in a lot of water. I know usually you wouldn't think of doing that, but now you need it to be really moist. Sloppy joes?
Yeah.
Or even
bread.
Or even tacos, especially if you make tacos a way where you don't use like a lot of season from the package, and you just use other spices and stuff that is mild, and you can. I mean, what I did, was like my go-to meal. It'd be about weeks 5, 6 was just some refried beans. I would make tacos for my family. I'd put my meat on top. By that time, I was able to have a little bit of lettuce. I'd put a little bit of cheese. I mean, it was about, I don't know, about that much and about that high. And I didn't finish it all. But it was just like,
Tasted like heaven.
it was like heaven.
Yeah.
It was absolutely like heaven. They're having tacos, but so was I.
You're not surprised.
Yeah. And it's all about, it's all about portions at that time, and in weeks 5 to 6 also, it's all about experimenting what works for you, what doesn't, what you can combine with something, what you can't combine with something. As you guys know, you're at that point, you're kind of like an experiment.
Mm-hmm. So what will work for one may not
work for the other.
So you just have to, these are just ideas.
Like I can eat watermelon, but she can't. And see, I do it's really soft and smushy. It'd probably be like beginning of week 5, but I do something called crock pot chicken fajitas, where I take chicken breasts and I throw them in the crock pot, season them with, I think it's taco seasoning or something, and then I put, I spread refried beans on top of that, and then I take, it's bell peppers and onions, I throw that in there. Then I take a can of tomatoes, dump that in there. Then I can't remember, I do salsa, I throw that in there, mild salsa. And then I take black beans, put it on top, put the lid on it, call it dinner. Remember one thing, a lot of the stuff as you progress through eating, it's real, I hate to say it, real common sense. Don't push it too fast,
Yeah.
but go kind of slow at it.